Okay, so Ranger and Paladins. How good are their spells? Which ones should you take? Let's find out. Summon Nature's Ally. Don't cast these spells. There's really no reason to cast them. The only reason you would cast them is if you're playing by yourself and there's nobody else to play with and you're playing on normal difficulty. Outside of that, these spells don't really work on Elite because they're too low level. So yeah, they're pretty bad. Charm Animal. Rarely take. I can't believe I'm saying this. Hold Animal. Rarely take. Actually, I'd probably even put this as sometimes take. Charm Animal is pretty bad. It uses your wisdom to actually cast the spell, which is hard to do because you don't have a lot of wisdom. And on top of that, it also has a another like layered issue where you're supposed to be casting or like hitting. Where's my brain going? It's a charm, which is even worse. So not that great, but it always works on mindless animals like insects. And insects are some of the most dangerous monsters in the game. Hold Animal works on insects. You know what's two fantastic insects? Scorpions and crayfish. They can't make their save, which means if you're playing as any type of ranger, you can use Hold Animal on any scorpion and crayfish, no save, and it just demolishes them. Great abilities, and this spell in particular, I actually always take this. It's great for R10s when like a big champ scorpion comes out, you just go stun, and then they can't do anything. So it's great, even if you have no wisdom to speak of. Cure spells, I'm going to probably put this in the always take category. I think that the cure spells are just too good to avoid taking. Even the cure light wounds, it comes in handy. Maybe I'll move that down to the sometimes take. Ram's Might, probably one of the best spells you get. It's just all damage, super strong. Gives you +2 strength and +2 damage. The damage applies no matter what weapon type you're using, so it's great. Scorpions are animals and spiders are vermin. It works on it works on vermin. Scorpions are vermin. My bad. Yeah, you count as vermin. Enlarge Animal, or whatever this is, animal growth. This is basically only useful if you are a shifter. But if you are a shifter, it's pretty good. Magic Fang, again, if you are a shifter, both these effects are really good. If you're not a shifter, they're both kind of useless. Barkskin. Barkskin is okay. Also, I just realized this is a shoulder. I always thought this was like a man, like hunched over, and there was like leaves coming out of the back or something. But no, it's just a shoulder, and there's a peck right there with leaves coming out. Damn, I've never seen that before. Wow. Anyway, it's only good while leveling. By the time you get to level 10, items are giving +5 to Barkskin, which is the highest amount you can get. So actually, I'm going to put this down here. It's basically only good before level 10. After level 10, you can't even use the spell anymore. It doesn't even matter. Pass Without a Trace. I guess it goes in rarely take, because most of these spells are like terribly bad. This one just gives you extra stealth. Rangers almost never actually use the stealth button on the keyboard. So there's that. Cat's Grace. Oh, this should be the scroll. So this is scroll tier. Sorry, scroll tier. Cat's Grace is bad. Jump. Amazing spell. Wow. America. Amazing spell. It's freedom of movement. Protects you from stuff. Tumble is terrible. I usually take this Spot Listen spell. I think it's quite good, just because extra spot means you can hit the monsters. Resist Energy, I'm going to put in the always take tier. I think it's just too good not to have on a ranger. Remove Disease. Yeah, I'd probably put this up here. It's pretty good. Remove Poison, I'm going to put this up here as well. They're just good to have as tools. Sometimes take, I would probably put this in the swim here. It's not the best spell in the game, but you can use it. Long Strider is interesting, because Long Strider and Long Strider Mask give you movement speed, but it's 15%, which the lowest you can get on an item is 15%, and it goes up to 20% by your level, by the time you're level 5, 20 to 25%. So if you really don't have a striding item, I guess you take these, but I can't recommend these spells at all. Owl's Wisdom, bad spell. So that's not a great spell. Camouflage, scroll tier. The reason why Camouflage is a scroll tier is because Camouflage gives you the ability to remove character effects. So did you cast bark skin on yourself, and then all of a sudden now your character is covered with leaves and twigs, and you don't like it? They have that like hard barky exterior. Cast camouflage, and it's gone. Are you playing as an alchemist and you cast gold skin? You don't like the fact that the gold skin makes you look a certain way. Guess what? You can use a scroll to just take away that gold skin look. Just hit yourself with a scroll of camouflage. Oh, are you playing as a sorcerer and you want to show off your cool cosmetics, but your elemental form doesn't show off your cool fire sorcerer cosmetics that you went and found? Man, I farmed out the Robe of the Phoenix for so many hours, and yet for some reason, now I can't show off my Robe of the Phoenix in town? Well, guess what? You can use the scroll of camouflage and it fixes it right up. Scroll of camouflage, and all of a sudden you can be easy to see in no time. Entangle. Rarely take. It actually has a DC on it, so unless you're a Wisdom Ranger, I wouldn't use the spell at all. D tier, D tier, D tier, and rarely take. So there you go. Here is your list. These Ranger spells are not that great. If you're looking at this compared to the other lists where there was stuff all over the place, almost every Ranger spell is bad. So it's rough. There's basically no good spells here that you would ever actually take. Except for these ones up here. These are pretty much the only good spells, and everything else is kind of a joke. To address the question of Magic Fang is worse, I disagree, just because Magic Fang, I agree, it's not as good, but it's mildly okay, if only because if you can't get it out of the shifter tree because your points are too tight, you could take it. Because this shifter tree takes 6 points. That's a really low bar, but it's there. And now that we finished this, let's move on to another equally small and equally bad spell list, the Paladin. Now, the Paladin is a little bit more interesting because their spells are pretty bad, but they have a lot of insanely good spells. So let's kind of break it down here. So for starters, spells that go in easiest always take. We have the Knight's Command spell here, and we have the Angel Skin spell here. Now, these two spells used to... Again, I always thought it was the hunched over guy with the angel wing. No, it's a guy with an angel wing. I am losing my mind. Amazing. And yeah, Stone Skin's going to blow my mind too. These spells are fantastic. Righteous Command, sorry. Righteous Command gives you 15 melee power and range power. What a level 2 spell. That's sick. Angel Skin used to give you some DR thing for like 10 seconds. It was very bad. Now, it gives you 1 racial bonus to your PRR and MRR per level. Racial bonus stacks with basically everything. And on top of that, it even gets bonuses from maximum cash level. So if you happen to be a level 30 Paladin, that's an extra 5. So it's 25 PRR and MRR from a level 2 spell. That's crazy. So Paladins with no items and nothing considered can get 25 physical and magical resistance rating from having their defensive stance and this spell. That's 50 on both. Paladins are very defensive, and it's very good for that reason. Bless is going to go in the always take tier. Bless now scales per level, and at level 30, that gives you +6 to hit, which is very good. It's a morale bonus, and is the highest morale bonus in the whole game. So very, very good. Prayer is a luck bonus with +6 to hit and damage and saves. Again, very, very good. Paladin's giving themselves +12 to hit. Unbelievably powerful. Very, very useful. Holy Sword. You need this to critically hit, and you need for a critical threat range and multiplier. You have to have this spell, so you are taking this spell. Keep that in mind. It's insanely good. Zeal, double strike and double shot. All of these spells are all damage, and they're all good for physical users. There are no spellcaster paladin builds because paladins don't get any good damage spells. In fact, they don't get any damage spells. So obviously, if you're a physical only class, all these spells are essential to your success. Other spells I would put up that tier: Magic Circle and Evil. It's just too good not to take. It gives you the mind affecting immunity for you and your friends against evil damage, so very, very useful. The standard buff spells here that you can get from potions are going into the D tier. They really have no use in this character. Now, a couple of weird things. Divine Favor, D tier. Divine Favor used to be good, but it's completely replaced by Prayer. When you get Prayer, it's pretty much just replaces this entirely. And it affects your friends. There's no reason to cast Divine Favor when you have Prayer because they're the same bonuses, but Prayer goes higher, and it adds saves, and it negatively impacts your enemies, and it affects your allies. It's just very, very good. Another one that goes down here. Resistance. This does not stack with any resistance items, so it's very, very, very bad. Virtue. Virtue, I'm gonna maybe pull it out of the D tier. This spell used to be pretty good back in the day when people had less health and it was more impactful. But nowadays, slowing down to cast Virtue all the time, it's not really that worth it. I remember making a character that had tons of mana for this purpose just for that, but yeah, it's not something you want to do anytime. So if you quicken it, it's maybe okay, but yeah, this is a very not so good spell. I would say that the remove blindness and remove curse spells are going to probably hit the scroll tier for this one. Remove paralysis is a joke spell. Yo, Crash, welcome back to the stream for 20 months, dude. Appreciate it. And yeah, almost a year. That's crazy. Soon to be. In just 1 month. What a crazy year it's been. Seek Eternal Rest. I'm going to put this in the sometimes take category. If you are actually turning undead as a paladin, this is useful, and you can turn undead as a paladin now. Just bear in mind that you can't instant kill anything. It's just a stun, but it's still kind of okay. Death Ward. Obviously, this is in the always take category. It's one of the best defensive spells in the game. You should be taking it. Now, you might notice here that that's a 4th level spell, that's a 4th level spell, and that's a 4th level spell, which means you don't have a lot of other 4th level spells. On top of that, other spells in the 4th level category, you have Cure and also True Resurrection. Both of these spells are good, and both these spells are 4th level. You have to choose between them. If you don't have True Resurrection, then you take Cure. If you have True Resurrection, I would take True Resurrection. So those are kind of my two options there. That comes from the defensive tank tree. Resurrection's an always take if you have it. Raise Dead's an always take if you have it, in my opinion. The Restore spells, I don't think you need either of these. I think these are scrollable. And the main reason I say that is because Paladins get the ability to actually restore things with their, what do you call it? The wounds, remove disease. And on top of that, you can straight up scroll them. So I wouldn't use either of them. So there's that. Divine Favor is... No, it does not. It gives a luck bonus to damage on prayer, but yeah, Divine Favor is not going to be better because prayer gives damage and saves and attack rolls, and it's a minus on the enemies, and it affects your allies. Prayer does give damage, yes. So this is going to put Protection from Evil into the scroll tier. This spell, which is Stalwart Pact, I'm going to put in the sometimes take. It's kind of good if you need it. But it's very mediocre in a lot of cases. I think that we're going to put probably Cure Moderate in the always take because it fits. For Paladins, I think that Remove Poison is going to go into the scroll tier as well. And then Break Enchantment. It's okay. You can sometimes take it. Same thing with Dispel Magic. Paladins get Dispel Magic. It's very odd, but they do. Same thing with Resist. It's a good spell. Lionheart. Garbage. Garbage tier. I don't even know why the spell is in the game. It is so bizarre to me. And then Cure Light Wounds, rarely take. I think the Cure Light Wounds is too ineffective and too slow. It's basically only good until you get a better Cure spell, and then you want to use that. The problem is, why use Cure Light Wounds when you just go buy a Cure Series wand, which is going to be better bang for your buck anyway. So I would definitely, instead of using Cure Light Wounds, I'm going to put this in the scroll tier and say, go buy wands of Cure Serious, which will do more than this will, and they don't cost any mana, and they have the same cast time because the wand has a short cooldown. So I would probably do that. So that's going to be Paladins and Rangers. Their spell lists are small, and you're going to notice Rangers, almost every spell is down here, but Paladins, most of the spells, they're pretty evenly distributed up here. This is basically the spell list that you always take on Paladin every time. So it's kind of neat. It's just kind of strange the way that works out.